All right. Good. All right. So first off, let me just open with this. I'm happy to have you fine gentlemen here.
Hey man, how come your camera not on?
I'm the one streaming.
He's streaming.
He's on stream.
What the hell?
You can't have it open while you streaming. I mean, you probably
can,
can.
I can. I just don't want to do it.
Streaming. I thought we were recording.
I was, and then I realized, bump it. Let's just do it like this.
All right, cool, bro. Cool.
Trust me, I didn't want to do it on stream either, but we here anyhow. I said, fuck it.
It's all gravy.
I mean, it's still gonna be a YouTube video regardless, bro.
Yeah. No. I'm just, now I can call people stupid in the chat, but that's, that's a whole different story. Continue.
All right, you're right. All right, so
that's crazy.
Let me open up with this.
So I don't know why you expected anything different.
You're right.
I didn't.
So again, big ups to these fine gentlemen here for giving me their time here to talk about the subject, which is the NA content versus Japan content. You guys, if you're not aware, there was a tweet made by Juna and a big dialogue going between him, Punk, and Majin Obama talking about what we can do better here on NA side of things in terms of fighting game content, on top of Japan's doing more, or really the underlying message is, technically speaking, we can do more. I'll be sure to put up the tweet here, in the edit, probably, if I edit this to begin with, but that's besides the point. The point of the matter is, that's what we're going to talk about here, and I already said my piece on it, but I want to bring these guys in on it because I do once again believe they have some great insight. So I especially brought Iyokuu in here because he has words, and I wanted to give him a little bit of a platform to kind of flare off, because there's some actual good things he said, especially on our talks, one-on-one and group talks about FGC. So I'm gonna open up with you, big dog. Let's go ahead and get
we just started, like, that's it.
Yeah, bro. We're just
bro, you put me on the spot, man. I'm a little nervous. I gotta get my chapstick, gotta get my water or something. Like, crazy.
I'll be sure.
Never thought. But
hey, everybody got something to drink but me.
Hey, bro, that's your fault.
You're not wrong.
Hey, big shout outs to Juvie, bro. Go ahead and use code Iyokuu. It don't work, but I'm sure if enough people use it, then they'll give me a code.
Yeah,
so anyway. Real talk though. I guess we can open up with my usual thing that I say and nobody can argue with me again. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me pull up chat. Let me pull up your chat real quick. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull up your chat so I can visually read the people that I may or may not agree with and or call dumb. But you know what is what it is.
You don't gotta do all that.
No, that's cool, bro. It's cool. Because when I say this, right? When I say this, a lot of people, they like to be wrong. They like to be wrong, man. The FGC is broke. That's the opening quote right there.
All right,
100%.
Can we talk about content, bro, please?
I thought that's what we were talking about.
Oh my God.
I thought that's what we were talking about.
He got a point. Let him go.
Yeah, bro, like, think about it. Where's the money coming from?
Okay.
You go to any other esports, video game development, whatever the case may be, they got money flowing in.
Right.
They got it from the companies. They have it from the community. They have it from the top players. Where's the FGC? We have a large majority of what we would consider, I like to use this term, titans. The titans within your content creation realm or your community, if you will. Mm-hmm. The FGC has a lot of titans. What do they do with their money? They keep it to themselves. That's fine. I'm not going to tell anybody to spread their money around. But what I also don't like is when they say we have a strong community, but the community does not support you. Where's the merch? How many sales do you get? If I take this and everything that you do as a creator, a streamer, whatever the case may be, and I take that to a brand and I say, hey, look, I'm FGC streamer number 7. This is my community. I would like to receive product from you to then give forth and sell. Let's make some deals. The first thing the brand's going to do is look at all the metrics, look at all the numbers. Okay. I see you pulling in 300-500 viewers per stream. That's pretty good. You're not uploading really on YouTube like that, but when you do it pops a good 10-15K. Not too bad. What's your pull value? What do you do for your community and how much do they give back? Oh, well, they give subs. I don't care about gift subs. Where's the merch? What can you sell? Who are you as a character, as a personality, as a brand? Well, I'm top fighting game player number 29. That's 28 people ahead of you. Why would I go pay you to do something when I can get number 1? It doesn't make sense. And then we take that and we bitch about it. Man, I can't believe we have to pay, what is it, 30 actually it's not even 30, $90 to get into the tournament. Man, it's a $90 entry fee to get into the tournament. I hate those, by the way, because those only benefit the tournament, right? It's a great experience for us, don't get me wrong. I loved going to EVO this year. Super cool. Why I'm paying this much money to go to EVO, lose, and then not have any other benefit outside of that? Like, I'm walking around, barely have seats available to sit and watch the casuals or the pools or anything like that. There's a lot that goes into what you're spending money on. I could go to a Pokemon event and I could pay $40 or $45 for entry fee, play all fucking day, regardless of if I lose or not. In the tournament, not just casuals, I could still play casuals. I could go buy merch directly across from wherever we're playing. I could watch the stream. I could watch the live stream right there in my face. There's a bunch of shit that I could do for a quarter of the cost for the FGC thing. And they have better promotion. They have bigger promotions. They have a bunch of other shit. Someone's going to say, oh man, well, they have Nintendo behind them. They have Game Freak behind them. You know who has like the fighting game companies have behind them? You got Capcom. Bandai is behind what? Fighters, Tech, and a bunch of other shit. NRS is packed with money. WB is fucking stacked. I don't care what nobody says. They have a bunch of opportunity to be able to invest into the community, invest into these events, and they don't. The closest thing that I remember is probably Arxis, and I don't even know if it's Arxis or not. I think it was Fighters, and they gave the tournament money or something like that. But I don't distinctly remember whichever tournament that was, but I know they directly said, hey, here's what's in the pot. We're going to match it. And they gave the pot more money. That was really cool to see, but that's the only time I remember that happening. Now you guys can talk about.
Well, I like to interject there. So
objection.
I objection. But I agree and I disagree with that because it depends on how much you value from the event, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if I know you, it kind of comes off as like you like Pokemon more than fighting games.
That's not true. That's not true.
No, but it's like so. For example, right, when we go to these tournaments, like EVO especially, it's weird to hear that because like EVO alone, knowing that where we were and are, right, we got to go to the Capcom booth. You know, for other people, oh well, but like at the same time, different though, right? Because... No, but like in a way, like you can still get, like EVO itself is one of those places where like the environment itself is still pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. Because like when you go to EVO, you could buy the EVO merch when you first walk in. That's the first thing you see, like the giant booth table and stuff like that. Now, Capcom and Bandai supporting them more, I do agree on that front. They should be having like hella merch lines out the wazoo, like just stuff here you can buy. But then they still had that, like Arxis had figurines you can get. They had the RAM thing before it was even available. You know, a lot of people have been talking about the RAM little jacket that was there at EVO, right? They do that every time before they drop new merch. They put it at the events for people that go so they can have it earlier, right? Mm-hmm. But in the grand scheme of things, you are correct. That's all I wanted to say.
No, I get you. I get where you're coming from for sure. I just, if I were to add on to that, I think it'd more like be taking EVO and amplifying it to everything else. I could go to any, and again, Pokemon, I can go to any of the events and they all function relatively the same. The same early merch drops, the same, tournament experience, all that kind of stuff. But different tournaments have different things. And I think EVO and is it CEO? Is that the one that does the wrestling theme?
Yes.
Yeah. Those two are like the big boy experiences, right? When you go, and I've still never been a CEO. I've only watched it, but I've seen when they have the wrestling intros. That was super cool to just see on stream. So I can only imagine it in person. Things like that, I'm okay with spending a little extra money because at that point it's an experience. You don't get that everywhere else. The other tournaments matching the price of EVO, matching the price of CEO. They don't give that to you. I go to Frosty, and no shade to Frosty, by the way. Frosty's cool. I love going to the event. I go to Frosty, and it's sweaty as hell in there. I'm walking up and down. I got to find which venue I'm in. There's a lot about Frosty that just doesn't You know what I mean? Like, as far as like, why am I paying the same price to go to Frosty when I can pay the same price to go to Evo and have 3 times the fun, 3 times the experience, whatever the case may be? And I want more from FGC as a whole, especially if we're coming into the FGC is esports territory. All right, well then, like, nut up, right? Ball up, bro. Bring it to the court. You gotta start matching what esports is doing. I go to a Valorant event, or an Apex Legends event, an Overwatch event. That's a giant stadium. I could literally drive to Dallas right now, go to the esports arena in Dallas, and then watch a weekend event for Overwatch or Apex or whatever. And it looks just like an esports arena. A big ass dome, big ass, and they have it like in a giant, I think it's a mall. It's a mall, and then there's a big ass dome attached to the mall. It's an esports arena. I could literally go there and then watch whatever the fuck is going on, have a great time, and it doesn't cost me $100. They run events, they run tournaments. It's great.
Yeah, so to interject on that, to be fair, like, there's some other cons that are even worse. Like, they cost, like, I don't know, if I'm mistaken, but like, it's either one of the anime cons that's trying to charge like $200 plus for 3 days, and you don't even get access to like all the panels and stuff like that, right? I think that's what fighting games on a content level at tournaments should also incorporate.
I like how you said
they
that.
need to, yeah. I think they need to do that. Like, say for instance, we go to Evo, right? They do have panels. Like, let's say this Evo, right? This Evo, they had those little panels that sit down with with PlayStation. They let people do that, but it's so niche to people that worked with PlayStation. It should be 2 sides of the coin, right? Yeah. But then that brings up the whole esports versus grassroots thing and etc. Yeah. But I do think, especially in Bandalay, right? We could find some way to incorporate, like, there's some extra rooms to just have like halls or special things. Because I would like to put on a showcase. I would honestly do it. Be able to host a panel about like arena fighters and how they can change fighting games. Because I strongly, no matter what opinion can say, I honestly think for it to be number one, like in terms of competitive games, if we got them games right, we'll be up there. Because more people care about those IPs than most fighting games.
Most general fighting games, that's true.
Yeah, like a JJK fighting game right now would be crazy. You know how Dragon Ball did, and if it just wasn't the company involved with it, it probably would have been bigger. Imagine if Riot had Dragon Ball Fighters. You get what I'm saying? Like, you know how big that game probably still be cooking right now, like even tenfold. So it's one of those things. Like, yeah, I would like to see them incorporate like paneled events, and that comes with like expanding the whole room and territory. And I saw what happened last weekend with Jabali, right? Like, again, clean up after yourselves if you go to tournaments. I'm gonna put this down. Clean up, throw the stuff away, because $1,500 for some trash on the carpet, I would cry.
Yeah.
I would go through it. Like, I absolutely don't like I would almost be like, throw a kid in the garbage if they waste juice on my floor, bro. Them carpets take forever to clean, man. I ain't doing it. I've been to that event too. Them carpets are some good carpets at CEO. So I'll be heated. Yeah. So there we go. Just make sure. We need more panels.
I think to interject to main focal point of why we here,
please.
Yeah.
To generalize somewhat what they were saying is like essentially how the current FGC is, it isn't enough. And I think the main tweet that sparked what was being said was, most can agree, was Punk's reply. And his reply was mostly like, why are we competing between Japan and US with viewership, and shouldn't we just be happy where the current FGC is? And I'm just roughly summing up his tweet. And from that standpoint, that is a very content point of focus. We shouldn't be content where we currently are, because we can always improve. Currently, we are on the rise, which is why I feel like a comment like that is probably being made, is that Street Fighter 6 is a good game. Tekken 8 is coming out. We got a bunch of other fighting games on the rise, and the space is looking good while other esports are on a decline. So at this very moment, fighting games seem good, but we still aren't in a perfect spot. And I think the big point of what Giuna and Majin Obama was trying to say is that not only Japan is doing this well because they are doing other things outside of just doing a regular tournament.
Yep.
And everybody that wanted to reply was that, well, whatever they was doing was a tournament. It was boring. But the big point or a big case that most people probably didn't realize, Giuna made a video yesterday, was that the big idea of the whole thing is that it is a build up to that. It is a whole training and promoting of not only the coach but the actual celebrity or other creators that's being a part of. It's a whole build up for months to that big event, and the overall grows to seeing it gets other people invested, because in everybody's eyes, it's not about Street Fighter 6. It's about my favorite creator is playing this. Now I'm invested. Now that also converts them to, oh, they're playing Street Fighter, they're giving fighting games, maybe I should give it a try. And it's something that's just different and new and inviting to feel within the community, because like I tweeted myself, I'm tired. Like I said, all respects to TNS and everybody that does online events. I don't need to see the 100th TNF run every week.
Yeah.
Like that. It's a cool thing to have. And I'm not saying get rid of it, but there should be other things to be invited into the space that allows us to celebrate fighting games in a different way. There should be new ideas that we should be thinking of every month, every other month, or whenever throughout the year in order to improve the space to make it more inviting. I think now we are coming to a point that at least a few of the bigger games that everybody's going to be invested into the companies are establishing that we can make a better product that people can enjoy. But I think now from a community standpoint, it's our job to make sure, okay, outside of the game, what can we do besides what the company is doing to make this an even more inviting space to people? There's always room for improvement.
Yep.
And I think that to have people that's at the head of our community to be content about where we're at just overall throttles where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Can I add something to that real quick?
Yeah,
So what was funny in the midst of the Giuna and Obama and Punk tweet, so if y'all know who the Russian Badger on YouTube, he's a channel with 3 million subs. He just dropped the hardest Marvel vs. Capcom 3 tournament of all time in the most casual way possible.
I've heard a lot of people have been loving.
I saw that video. I haven't watched it yet.
That video fire.
Isn't it like 3.5 million views?
Yeah, no, it has 2.8 million views right now. Yeah, and it was just dropped 10 days ago.
Hey,
and I was thinking,
a question.
Go ahead.
Who in the FGC gets those views?
Max.
He gets 2.8 million.
I mean, he's gotten millions of views.
No.
All right.
He gets.
I must say, if we're saying on a consistent basis, no. But out of everybody, he's the closest to it. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's the closest to it.
Closest one to it. Absolutely.
Right.
So I kind of want to add something there real quick. Okay.
Go ahead.
So for like content wise in FGC, I feel like I do agree with Soul, right, that everything feels the same. And there's no disrespect towards like TNS or like any other tournaments out there, right? But watching a pro player or any pros doing runs every single day or a week and uploaded for content, I won this tournament, I made top 8 at this tournament, and it's the same thing every week. It becomes tiring, right? It becomes tiresome to watch. Or like I got to Masters with, like, for example, I'll just use Aki because Aki just came out. I got to Masters with Aki in like 24 hours, something like that.
Oh, yeah, that video
like,
coming.
Right. And like those videos are going to be easy for like, fast click views, right? But it's time for like something new and different, because every other pro player or like every other content creator so far is doing the same thing. So like you can come up with like some cool ideas for the casuals, like I spin the wheel and it landed on a space to remove the button. Like what Soul video.
You're giving out our secrets right now.
Like,
relax.
I know, but I'm just trying to give out something.
He good.
I'm just trying to give out something.
Okay,
like make it interesting.
So here's the thing,
instead of
right?
the same thing.
So I agree with that, right? But at the same time, it's gonna take somebody to break how the algorithm perceives that type of content. And that's the factor a lot of people are not thinking about. Like, I agree, we do need fresh new ideas. Like, Soul has done some crazy stuff. I've tried some crazy stuff. Blizz, everybody in this call right now has tried some crazy stuff, right? But at the same time, like, YouTube algorithm be like, nah, you know what I want? I want broken in the thumbnail and somebody health bar depleting, right? We know what you want. So it's in the case of like,
or tier list, or
I have
tier
a
list.
rebuttal to that, but I want you to continue. I want you to continue.
no. So in a way, the bigger players and bigger creators in the space should be the ones doing that as well and uplifting the other ideas. And it's why I feel like Mortal Kombat thrives so well.
Yeah, so somebody that's been transitioned between the two. Like I still want to cover Street Fighter because I love the game. I love the game a lot. But in comparison to the two spaces when it comes to content, it's night and day.
Two spaces. Which ones?
Mortal Kombat and
Street Fighter.
When you type in Mortal Kombat, 9 times out of 10, you will see content creators within that search making their content and diversifying themselves from just not only doing tournament runs and of the sorts.
It's true.
But in comparison to Street Fighter, I type in Street Fighter 6, even on a fresh account, all I get is replay channels.
Yep.
I don't even see Brian F or Punk at all. Unless I scroll all the way down, and I think the only other person that might show up is Diaphone because some of his videos have just grown so large that he just comes up. But in that same breath, is like, to me, what that shows is that from a casual's perspective, we don't have even though our large creators aren't big enough or aren't doing big enough ideas that pulls in newer people to eclipse what the replay channels are bringing in, because the big thing with the replay channels is you're not going to beat them in quantity because they upload every day 4 times a day. So it's like impossible. they're currently prioritizing the search so much, and it's like that portion is not like to blame on creators or anything. It's not really to blame anybody, but it's just a sad fact that because of that, the space is very stagnant, and it feels like it's hard to find somebody that's doing something new. And I know a big rebuttal that we'll probably see in the comments of this video is like, well, why don't you do it? And I've attempted. I'm pretty sure mostly everybody has attempted. And I know personally, so for me, I know if I want to do new things, to introduce new things, it's a long process. But the truth behind that is that you have to play the current game that everybody is playing in order to get there, which is sadly the most repetitive content that we are currently doing at the moment.
Yep. So let me, there's a couple things that I want to, who the fuck is this? Oh shit. There's a couple things that I want to kind of rebuttal to. Number one, what Soul said earlier, I'm gonna forget them, but Soul, you mentioned, which I thought was funny, the coaching thing, right? They coach, FGC player coaches a celebrity and whatnot, or a content creator. I believe that we recently did that. Kev did that with Lulu. Was that AT&T or
AT&T?
Okay, so AT&T. Right, and so that was super cool. Fun fact about that has nothing to do with the FGC. Like, that's just straight up AT&T does those things all the time for whatever game they feel like, sponsoring. And Street Fighter 6 happened to be new, so they jumped on it. It was an opportunistic thing. I don't blame them at all. I would love to see more from that. After that, and so like recently, I think literally like 2 days ago, maybe, the voice actress for Aki, she came out and they were like, oh yeah, I want to learn Street Fighter 6, or I want to learn how to play Aki for my own enjoyment. Who can teach me, right? Like, is there anyone else who can teach me how to play Aki? Do you know how many people jumped in her DMs and under her tweet that were like your pro players or being tagged to teach her something? I'm like, that's content, that's what you're looking for. So for you to double back and say, oh, but the Japanese event was boring, y'all are trying to do it here. It at that point, it just comes down to like, I don't like it. I don't like it if we don't do it, or if my favorite content creator doesn't do it. I don't like it.
Yes.
You know what?
And that's a huge thing that goes into what Yaya was mentioning. If it's not your favorite content creator, you're not watching it. And that's where now we're starting to link pieces now. What Soul said is true. What Yaya said is true. If you're making content and it's different, if it's new, it's not following the trend of your Jay Wongs, your Punks. I'm not going to put Diaphone in there because I think Diaphone's like slightly different. Whoever else, right? There are certain creators that I value highly, and I call them creators. I will state this now because somebody's going to get their feathers in a bunch. My definition of what a content creator is so far from the majority of people that I just don't consider people content creators. You could be a great player, you could be a streamer, you are not a content creator. You could be I upload videos and that's it. Doesn't make you a content creator. Being able to stream, cut your highlights, or have an editor cut your highlights and then put that on YouTube does not make you a content creator. Content creator. You need to create the content. Most people, especially FGC players, do not create content. They take from stream, they upload it, call it a day. You still have people running around here with 480p cameras. You still have people who don't understand how YouTube works. They don't understand tags. They don't understand titling. They cannot make their own thumbnails. They can't edit their own videos. They don't know what Premiere Pro is. There's a lot that goes into what I would consider a content creator, and they don't fall under anywhere near that bubble. So now you add into the fact that if they're not doing what is different, we don't cross that threshold. Yep. There's a top tier, right? The top tier creators or players or whatever. And then you have the community right under them. And the community, they're a bunch of sheep. They will herd towards whoever the top player is. Really good example of that is quite literally Diaphone. I love Diaphone's content. Been watching Diaphone since Grand Blue. When Diaphone was playing Grand Blue, he was sitting well under like maybe what, like I'll say 10K to be safe. He was sitting on like 10K, maybe 20K when he was covering Grand Blue content, and his guides were not like huge, but they were very well scripted guides, very good guides, tons of information from it. Huh? I
can say this. So just to add validity to the Diaphone thing, I know personally that he has a even though he has editors, he has the idea, right? And once you can get the editor to make the idea and the scripting and stuff like that, from your definition, that's more aligned with the content creator. But most other ones in the space, and I ain't gonna say no names, okay?
It is what it is.
But I know they be like, yo, hit a VOD, do something with it. Say it broken, call it a day, upload it.
Yeah, and that's kind of like where my definition, falls away, because that's not. Yeah. It's not like if the editor turns something into that and it's like a banger ass video, sure, because I would never know it. But taking it just from, and that's why I say I consider Diaphone different than a lot of the others, because they don't. We all know it. I've taught it to y'all. Y'all have shared the shit, and ego gassing myself. I'm probably like one of the most knowledgeable persons in here when it comes to content creation, both chat and in the call. So I call a lot of shit out. If in the event you make the content, you cut it up, you stream it, whatever, and you transform it into something cool, content creator is no harm, no foul under my book. Taking it from stream and then cutting all the quiet parts, or in most cases leaving the quiet parts and then uploading it, that's not a content creator, bro.
Like, favorite, let me do a guide on my character that's 3 hours long. Bump it, we uploading it. No timestamps.
So this is where me and his conflicts don't, like, his way he view content. It's kind of like broken at the point.
I'm harsh with it. I'm harsh
because for me, like, I even said this on Twitter the other day. I was like, not saying you do this, but there's people that, like, I'll put it like this, and we'll come and you will understand why I'm saying this. So in the Kingdom Hearts space, right, there's people that hate people that just talk and do videos, right? They don't qualify that as content. But then you have to ask yourself in the scape of things, what is content to you?
Yeah.
Because for some people, info dumps is content, right? Like, for other people, like, I'm not watching those first person. I'm saying this right now. First person that put up a 3-hour Aki guy getting downvoted. I'm not watching that. There's no reason to be 3 hours long. Yeah. You could even cheat now, right? You got guides in the game. Just write it in a different language. Just take it in Google Docs. I'm giving y'all tech. Take it in Google Docs and change the word with another synonym. That's your video. You can literally do that.
Max. Someone's mentioning Max in chat. Max is definitely a content creator.
Max doesn't count.
Max is, but like the thing is, like, we have to stop bringing Max into the conversation.
He can't count anymore. No, I'm 100% what you're saying. I'm in complete agreement with. Matt has earned his
earned his spot.
Yeah, he's not Matt. Max. Yeah, Max has earned his crown.
We need to just stop one of the things we got to do when it comes to these discussions in fighting games and content, we have to stop isolating Max. I'm not saying putting him on a pedestal, but we have to stop isolating him and saying, well, he has this. Max has come a long way to be where he is now. And like what he does, Max does.
He's earned it.
Well, let me add to that just so we can push this discussion and move a little bit forward, right? So I want to go.
Well, anomaly.
He's not an anomaly. He
earned it.
He's the man that worked 40 years of his life, and now he's retired, so he get to do what he wants.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
That is Max with content, and even to that stance. Even to that stance, Max, even he turns his streams to videos. He has objectives. He has plans that he wants to do throughout his streams, and he has his editors or himself congest them into videos so that they are consumable and enjoyable on both platforms. That's still a content creator. At its core.
Even to add on to that, it's something that I would look at. Again, we can look outside of the FGC for this. When you earn your placement in whatever bubble it is, you're at the top now. You earn the right to be lazy. You earn the right to not have to put in as much work. You earn the right to put out what you need to in order to continue your growth or money or whatever the case may be. Max does not, and in fact, he can't do it. We can't get another assist me. He's explained this multiple times. As much as we love assist me, he cannot do it. At least not the way that he was doing it before, and not for the companies that he would have wanted to do them for. They just won't let it happen. Maybe now that he's huge, they might work something out. But at that point, it's so much work. It took him weeks to get an assist me out, and he was pumping them out weekly back when they were a big thing. So he put in work. We can't keep putting Max in this bubble of like, oh, well, Max is this. And I'm not even saying that is this same Huey? This is other Huey. No, I'm not saying that other Huey, that you're like bringing him up for that reason or anything like that. I mean, in general, that like Max is at a point, right? He's a family man. He's Guile. He's good. He can raise another Guile, you know? He can raise another Guile, and like he's good. That's it. We have to look at what's here now and what is being considered the our
new
prominent figures.
Like right now, it's about the new age. Like he's already done his thing. He's good. Like there's other things I want to kind of push into right now, so we can like really get to some meat and potatoes, because there's some things. So earlier you mentioned about Annihilator Cup and me and Lulu, right? Part of why I have issues with that, right, is my beef in a lot of cases is with these people that are creating these events or running the events, right? It feels like they're so disconnected from the scene, right? They're so disconnected from the actual FGC that they're just like, okay, you know, you look at the people in there, Lulu, you know what I'm saying, Timmy, this one, that one, Noko, whatever, right? Cool, fine. If you know you're going to do that, then do it like CR Cup. Give them time. I only had literally like 3 or 4 hours with Lulu to help her out. And to my knowledge, she only had 2 days to learn how to play. Now, if I had Lulu for at least 2 weeks, she's winning that whole thing. I'm like totally confident in that, right? But like part of the issue with Annihilator Cup is the focus isn't Street Fighter. The focus isn't the fighting game. So if they did like Annihilator Cup Street Fighter edition with these big names and do exactly what we're saying, you know, they find, you know, they reach out, hey, find your coach or whatever, we do this thing, and then it's like everyone wins, right? Because then it's obviously some people don't like it when this is said, but it's like you're piggybacking off the views from this person, you're piggybacking off, it's just how it is, right? We do a big event, you're working with that person, those people know you, you get notoriety from that person, you bridge that gap, and you have that, you know, that like handshake. Go ahead.
To slightly interject on that, it was a funny thing that Junior brought up in his video, but he was like, the difference for that in Japan is that since they do it for so long, it doesn't stay as you're piggybacking off the views. It becomes that, oh, I know him because he trained my favorite content creator, and I liked him when he trained. So now I go to his streams and support him because now we have a connection because he's been training her, I don't know, for like 2 months now or however. So like it becomes such a strong development that it's not about piggybacking off anybody. It's that you just both grow from it.
So that's what I was gonna move into, right? You pretty much like bumped ahead of me on it, but no, you're good. But that just goes to show what I'm saying, right? There are some people from Lulu's stream that still come in here on my stream and chill with me, You know, some want to see me play Cammy, some are just cool just to chill, right? And then when I go in her streams, you know, I'm able to talk with her. I'm not just like another number in there. You know, when she sees me, I'll talk about Apex while she's playing, and you know, so forth and so forth. Point of the matter is, it initially starts as a piggyback, but then you grow together. But the issue with that was one day. You know what I mean? One day versus like 2 months. So it's like that growth
Not gonna get
together.
much from that.
Right. So I think that's also like a big issue. Then, and I'm opening up the big can of worms here, and you guys can just say whatever you want on it, right? It's totally open floor, right? My problems was that, and then other things like the Intel, right? Intel Invitational. Just call it a regular tournament. It's not an invitational. You already know you're gonna pick Punk. We already know you're gonna pick this one. You're gonna pick that one. You're not opening up the doors to like newer talent to help grow the scene. Like, we already know that these guys are there. That's fine. Do something else with them, right? If you don't do these exhibitions, there's other players that are up here. If you wanted to pull like new, like your old Intel guys versus your new Intel guys, I don't mean we do an 8-man invitational and we only add 2 new people. That's kind of like, you're not really giving a fair one. Like, I like kind of what happened with like Twitch Rivals too, but I feel like we need more of that.
We need more of that.
It's not just like we did it one time. You know, we need to do more. And there's a lot of players. Excuse me. There's a lot of players that you can utilize. I'm just truly tired of that too. Like, I get it. You're just salty because they didn't pick you. Yes, I am. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like, it is frustrating because there's a lot of people. Like, there's a lot of people that play, a lot of people that stream. I get it. Well, you need to place high in order to get that. Do you really need to? Like, placement shouldn't matter as much for showmanship, right? If you want to watch high level comp, you can watch TNS. You can watch freaking Can Opener. You can watch Bums. You can watch any weekly tournament. You know what I mean? And you'll get that. You know what I mean? But this invitational is to help. Because I think what also needs to be said is that like a lot of newer players relate to the new underdog. It's like that's the underdog. I like him. Oh, he plays that. Oh, I like that. You know, especially when like you have a lot more character variety, right? Yeah. So like, if you're already seeing, you know, just for what it's worth, you're only gonna see Cammy from Punk for the most part, right? And then you have the other characters. You're just gonna see Ken, JP, Ken, JP, Ken, JP, and then there's like a Blanca. It's like, okay, cool, I get it, high level comp, cool, but like, this game has how many characters? Can we get a Rashid player? Can we get a Kim player? Can we get, you know, a Dalsim player? You know what I mean? And try to mix and match the game up so people can see more of the game. Because when they're watching these invitationals, they can relate and be like, this is the best player, or these are the best players. But then it's like, you're just rooting for kind of like the same thing and not really like diversity in the game, right? Because I think that's part of it. I think that's the other part that needs to be said. Like, invitationals can be more. You could do a freaking all one character event. Like, I'm being real. I'm sure a lot of people are tired of seeing, like, I was at CEO, dude. Ken, JP, Luke, Jury. This is like the top 4 characters you see all day on stream. And then you see something wild like, you know, double Honda. How did the bracket line up with 2 Hondas on the freaking stream? Oh, then we have Honda versus, you know, Dalsim. Wow. I didn't just see JP versus the world? Cool. Yeah. Like, that's actually a good thing. You know, so like I feel like that's the other part of it. Like, we have to be able to like put that.
It's funny because people will argue with me about like with Smash, and it'd be like this is why fighting games need bigger rosters because then more characters could be viable. And then they're like, oh no, but I don't like me personally. I don't want to deal with them 89 matchups. But at the same time, I know watching it is always entertaining because every time I see something on Smash, like I turn on Smash right now, and I'd be like, what? He got top 8 with Jigglypuff? Like, how you do that? Like, you know, it's something always different in that space. You know,
I think it's a little, even to go into what the Smash thing, it's a little different because they have Smash doesn't really change too much from what it was, right? Like, Link's still he's still gonna throw the boomerang, he still has the arrows. They might give him a bomb, you know, or whatever the new game is, they'll give him something from there. Toon Link is still gonna have the same kit. Jigglypuff, for the most part, I don't really think they changed anything about Jigglypuff. Always has the same kit. So it's a little bit easier to keep the balance in those games, if you will, especially because it's, you know, it's a platform fighter. There's way more space. When it comes to traditional fighters, and I don't disagree with you, by the way, I do think that I really feel like I like seeing more characters. I don't like seeing the same shit. And that just kind of comes with like, oh, this is top tier, I'm going to play top tier or whatever. But in fighting games in particular, because of how balancing works, how the game mechanics works, how things are in favor or against another character, it's always going to be a point where you get into like a top 5, top 6, top 10, and then out of that top 10, there's only 4 or 5 people that are constantly being played. So it's harder. It's way harder to do.
I'm in the boat that like I agree and I don't, because my favorite it's hypocritical on my end, because my favorite 2 games I see the same thing all the time. It would be Melee and Marvel 2. I like watching that all the time. So for me, it's like I can see it being boring for other people, but for me, like peak gameplay is what I like. I can turn on Melee right now and watch Captain Falcon for 3 hours straight, because I just know what goes into that game and what it develops into. I appreciate that thing, but from a casualistic eye, it may not be. You know,
we're like the one, like Evo's the biggest example. We had high mirror matches, and that was the main discussion from Evo, is that we had 5 mirror matches for grand finals, and everybody hated it.
Bro, let me tell you, Tekken, and I don't mean that. I usually never slander Tekken. That's something you would never come in my mouth, right? Tekken, watching that at Evo, bro, watching that Evo, I was like, all right, Harada, you was spinning with making Tekken 8 the way you made it.
Though, man, that was
no, bro. How are you the fastest? You're the ninja, and you the slowest match in the tournament.
Hey, man, listen.
They was playing a
matchup. As a Koni Mitsu fan, look, I had no problem with it, but at the same time, I can understand. Look, seeing 2-2-2-2 and freaking what is it? It's been a minute, but the spin move, I ain't gonna lie, that was boring. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Nah, man, y'all tripping, bro.
It's like
really cool.
2-2-2-2.
Ultimately, from like that stance, it's like that. Like having that stuff is fine. Like having an Evo, having a terms and all that is great. But like we should just do more. Like there is no reason why we don't have like a weekly or a monthly extreme battle tournament for Street Fighter 6. There's no reason that don't exist.
Yeah,
and I think Justin did it like at like I don't if it was at Evo or if something that he did like a little side event. But why don't we do the game offers more things that you can do to bring in a more casual approach, but nobody is doing anything with it.
Yeah. To be fair, I will use Demon Slayer from what we've all been a part of that. When I tried to run the Demon Slayer tournaments, like out of the gate, regardless of the player count thing, but the idea, the concept was sound, and we see that Wanted came from that. We see that Achunka runs tournaments now for the Water Wheel Chronicles, things like that. It takes us basically like a couple of people to be able to run it, and then they're going to have to stick with it no matter what. And then eventually it'll catch on. The main problem that we could sum up with a lot of what we want from the creativity of all of this is it has to get boosted or shouted out or something at some point in time. Some of the larger creators, the larger players at some point have to endorse it. That's the easiest way to say it. If they don't endorse it, it never gets shouted out or it never gets recognized. Or rather, it doesn't get recognized enough. And it's not their fault. It's not necessarily their responsibility, but it's also not the person's fault who's trying to do something new. Y'all have heard me say it all the time. I blame the community, and I genuinely just don't care. I don't hold my tongue on that because it is their fault. I understand how YouTube works to a very firm degree. I know how videos get populated. The video does not get populated because the player is a top player. It just doesn't work that way. No shade to Just a Kid. Just a Kid is a great jury player. His channel is not in the top echelon of fighting game content creators or fighting game YouTubers. And there's a reason for that. It's not because, he's not a top player enough. No, he will beat your ass. So it is what it is. It's YouTube. You don't understand the YouTube meta enough, not him specifically, but anybody, to be able to push this. YouTube is not looking for the content you're putting out. It doesn't match the quality that they think is already here to be put into the same bubble. So when you have the similar creators, new rank trial or ranked mode this, I completed ranked in this time, combo challenge, oh shit, new character, hype reaction, it's the same shit, right? Everyone's doing the same shit. And when you do the same shit, nothing stands out, and the thing that would stand out won't get recognized unless the community pushes it. There's a huge reason when we get, what was it? Gecko Squirrel, his channel I forget his name. The Gold Lewis guy. He blew up.
Backpack.
Backpack. There's a gigantic reason that people don't look at as to why they blew up the way they did. It's because one, they had some sound crazy ass idea they were doing that nobody else was doing, and then two, which is the biggest reason, the community pushed the fuck out of it. Everyone was spreading backpack shit around. Yo, did you see this Gold Lewis player, bro? Check out this Gold Lewis combo. I didn't know Gold Lewis could do this with his hammer, bro. Did you see Gatling gun with Gold Lewis? I didn't know you could do that either. Here's your share.
So I want to add on to that, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
So it's basically the same thing I was kind of saying, right? Like content feel the same, and I think Soul even brought it up too, where we have, like, for example, a stream battle, like some of you guys in the chat said, a stream battles, right? In 6, we have this great game mode, and I find it funny. Not really a lot of people, really nobody is covering it besides it was me, Soul, and I think Marjan Obama at the time, because he did some type of like created character type tournament one time when 6 came out.
Avatar.
And I think, Avatar. Thank you. I think that is like a wonderful idea to bring even more casuals in to like try to play like your favorite content creator. You know, what if your favorite content creator has like the avatar at like 100, and maybe yours is at like 1 or some crap like that, right? But you get to play with them and try to take them down. Like that's some like content right there. Like make it really interesting for casuals. Like I think casuals will eat that up. Like would love to watch that.
Absolutely.
Like I just think that's just amazing that nobody was using like other game modes and using it to push the algorithm for 6. And
It's
I think
a
that
risk
sucks.
reward, you know. You don't have you don't get the reward from it, and that's what sucks about it, right? Let's say that you started that up and you started the extreme battles and you hosted them. I don't know. You hosted them twice a week or twice a month. So you host them every bi-weekly. Yeah. And the first one, booming, right? You get like 100 people sign up, whatever, cool. The next one, 70 people, and it dwindles down from there. And then you get to a consistent, you only get like 15 to 20 people that come out to this versus them going to play a real tournament or, you know, whatever the case may be. If it's, regardless of how fun it is for the casual player, if it's not rewarding to you as the person hosting it, it gets to a point where you have to weigh, like, I'm wasting time. Yeah, I'm wasting so much time on what's going on. I have a job, a full time. I'm putting money into the pool. You know, out of 15 people, someone's winning $500 every 2 weeks. I don't have this, whatever the case may be. No one's doing the Matcherino because you guys still have that. No one's directly donating to whatever it is going on. There's a lot of bullshit that goes into why you wouldn't want to continue to do something or why you wouldn't want to start something. And again, community, you know, if they're not there for it, who are you providing the event to if they don't want to be there in the first place? That's a big thing that I dealt with Demon Slayer. We want money, we want prize pools. Okay, cool. How's a $3 entry sound? No,
money.
wait, bro, we don't want to pay.
Money's the other part of it too, right? So like that's where
are you getting the money from?
Matcherino does come in and fix that. I do have to say this as well because I think this is still important, right? The changing of the space despite what YouTube's saying, I still think if you don't do it, nothing's gonna change. Like I think the only part that sucks, right? Thanos, at what cost? You know what I mean? At what cost do we keep dropping these videos to like not change the space? But you guys know me. Like I don't,
which is why
I don't care. I'm gonna do it regardless.
I'm very fond of like, which is why and this might sound like, why you glazing? But like I'm very fond of like Core Gaming, simply for the fact that he pushes concepts. Like I can name like a couple channels that I really like watching. And not even just gameplay, because I know a lot of gameplay channels are really good, especially the Mortal Kombat ones. But like this is why I push Core Gaming and like Gal Win Code or Theory Fighter in a certain lane, because they take Gecko Squirrel 2, and Rubbish is another one that's coming up.
Rubbish is my favorite.
Rubbish is insane.
Rubbish is my fucking favorite.
He actually made me read. Look, because at Evo, I was like gonna get the biking sticker, and then my brain's like, wait a minute, I don't deserve this. And I was thinking about the Rubbish, so I just got the Cammy one. But like at the same time, it just he makes videos. All those people that I named, they all make videos that kind of push the barrier to a casual market, right? If anything, like when you type in "why don't people just match in fighting games" or "why netcode matters," they come up, right? Or like even like in my minor case, like why I hate large rosters in fighting games, and having those videos be searchable and found, there's room for it to change. I'm not saying it's not going to change, but you know, some people are not going to risk and you know what they have to try to do something unique out of it. You know how a lot of people are with YouTube. Like I'm at this point with YouTube. I'll be real with you. Video flop, whatever. I go tomorrow. I do something better. That's where I'm at personally. But some people, they get that 7 out of 10. They ain't uploading until next Friday. Like that, you know what I'm saying?
That's your boy right here, man.
And it's like, yeah, I get it, but like, I think it's because I understand YouTube in a way to where like I can see what I did wrong. I'm like, all right, so I made a fire thumbnail, but if I see that CTR low, that's garbage. So I didn't do it right. You know what I'm saying? Or the title was trash. So it's like in my way, it's like, all right, don't do that again. I'll write it down in my handy dandy little notebook. I ain't doing that again. So like, I just know like when it comes to that
Death Note, I was like, there's no way he's writing notes in a Death Note, bro.
no, it's a
I think that's the good thing about all of us here is that we all look at it differently. Yeah. Right. Like I'll admit, I'll be 100%. These guys are probably more YouTube brain than I am. Not just because I'm like a high level player streaming or whatever, right? It's just I guess I'm more of the artiste where I just push it out. Like it's because I want to do it. I know not everything I'm gonna put out is gonna be a banger video, or it's gonna hit like the numbers like some other people. But like, I guess I'm the hippie in all of this, right? Where I'm just like, little splash of paint. No, I'm like the Bob Ross. A splash of paint here, a splash of paint there. Let's release that. You know what I mean? Clip it and ship it, baby. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like, I'm with it. I'm with it. Oh wait, hold on a second. Whoa. Hold on a second. Now you want to pop up? Hold on, Arrow.
You got a 6 party just trying to join in.
Yeah, you know, didn't clearly see the thing that says, you know,
your OBS open, ain't it?
Oh, fuck.
Dumbass. Goddamn OBS. Message me in chat that you want to pop in here too. Dirtbag. Oh, you have words? All right. So,
look, y'all.
So we got. Here comes a new challenger. Freaking Arrow Nage popping his ass up in here.
Aki came on not he want to turn up again. Aki came out.
Aki came out.
You know what he told me this morning? I gotta expose him, bro. Look, this morning I was sitting here, my head on 10. My head been hurting all day, bro. Arrow is just silent. For, like, sleep. No, bro, shush. Because if I go to sleep, it's gonna wake. I'm gonna fight you later. Literally, the point I'm trying to make, right? I'm in the car, it's silent. Like I'm just like taking medicine or whatever. I'm like, all right, stop working halfway. Everyone's like, oh, Aki's out. It's time to be a content creator. Work. And it's like, now you gonna say that because you got your character. Go ahead, bro. Say what you gotta say, bro.
Yeah, man. You decided to pop up here like a Kuma.
I just wanted to say, y'all doing a great job right now. So, you know, I can't really, I need context for me to say something. So,
how you know you're doing a great job if you won't listen?
No. I was listening. I don't have anything to.
I have to edit this. But let's go ahead. We're talking about all right, just to catch you up to speed. I
don't know why you're laughing. I was listening.
Don't worry about it. You know what, y'all? This is gonna be just the way it is. I'm not even gonna edit it. In fact, Arrow, you finna edit this. But anyway, and I'm not finna pay you. Anyway, I'm just kidding. But now, seriously. All right, I'm done cooking you. So for what it's worth, we're just talking about the whole Majin Obama Juna thing, right? Where was talking about the Japanese side of things in terms of content creation. That event with the raccoon. RC event. Was it Raccoon Cup? There you go. And they did their thing. And the dialogue between him, Majin Obama, and Punk. and how like we're kind of stagnant with our viewership and stuff like that, and the ideas that we kind of need to kind of push forward. You know what I mean, on this side of the world. There's some other things in which I'm gonna add to. So, I mean, you're here now, but I'm gonna just throw in some extra things. There was, I mean, I guess the best way to put it is I was watching James Chen last night too, and he was saying some things as well. And he doesn't. I think some of his opinions and views is kind of like we're not ready for this right now in NA, and I don't really agree. Granted,
We're not ready for what?
Like pushing these kinds of events, like to get more eyes, to get more casual eyes on it, I guess, or like add a broader eye to it, because I think he brought up like Tetris is bigger than Street Fighter, and it's like I don't necessarily disagree. But
before you continue with that, was there any other context that he might have said, or like other statements that he said afterwards for that? Because I want to say I agree with him, but I need to know like what he said before I say I agree.
I mean, I don't want to make it too heavy on about James Chen, but just simply put, just in general, just our like Japan's, you know, how Japan views video games and how America views video games is kind of night and day. I don't necessarily agree with that anymore. I think I would agree with that before like the PS3. I think PS3 moving forward, gaming has gone pretty big here, especially esports. And I mean, we're still like the home of esports. So it's kind of hard to like really agree with that when like.
Dang, I kind of agree.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like I just
Because
the way that it's said in
depends.
context.
Yeah, like it need like. This is why I'm like I see why you didn't want to bring it heavy on them, because like there's extra context we don't know.
Yeah.
Because like if he's talking about like right now, I would argue like some genres have been viewed differently than they were PS3 before. Cause like PS3 back genre like RPGs was hated on.
Yeah.
But now now for like the past couple of years, they getting Game Award, Year Award nominations. Yeah, people loving them now, right? Like Final Fantasy has been the best it's been in 10 years because of 7 Remake. Like it or not, like you know.
I guess in the same stance, I'm like the whole big thing is that fighting games is at its biggest point that it's ever been within like a casual eye.
Yeah.
So in my stance, I'm like, I feel like it's no better time to at least attempt or take the risk of doing something similar. Cause it's like, it's not even like that we have to invest as heavy as they did. Like we already doing stuff online. So just make it an online thing, but have it so that there is an actual structure to what's going on. So we're going to do like the coaching and content thing with like getting people in, similar to what June said in the video. Of course, you have to find like actual celebrities or other creators that's outside of the space that's interested in it. But have like a list of coaches. I mean, of course, truthfully, you will have to include a few coaches that are well notable players within the space. But I think you could also add in a few people that are up and coming, or that that deserves a spot, or at least should be at least given an opportunity. Which I think a lot of the things that like Kev hinted on earlier is that a lot of the things that we currently are is that the only way you get an opportunity is if you make it through brackets.
Make it through brackets.
Yeah.
And that is such a linear focus especially when it comes to the content space, because everybody that's in almost every other content space, the pro players, they cool and all, but they don't matter as much in the grand scheme of like marketing the game or getting people invested. For instance, all the huge Call of Duty people, originally most of them didn't compete. They were just in their room uploading them pub stopping people online. Dollar community, some of the big people that people watch, like Corey J and all them, they don't compete. They just be chilling in their room playing with friends, and it's like
it's cold as hell too, bro.
They're good at the game. They're competent enough to talk about the game, but for the most part, it's just them having a good time. And I think that's the big thing that a lot of fighting games are missing, is that the primary thought when it comes to getting into a fighting game for casual people is that I have to be good in order to enjoy this. But there's hardly ever anybody within the space at a large enough size that shows that you don't have to be good. You can just enjoy mashing buttons. You can just get on and have a good time. And we could count on our hands how much of that content exists.
It's like 2. Even if you were to do it now, and go into the incognito tab. Excuse me.
4.
And type in like Street Fighter 6 gameplay or Street Fighter 6 whatever. You're gonna get 3 results. The actual trailers for the game from Capcom. You're going to get the
replay channels.
The replay channels. Gosh, I wish we could fucking ban those. And then you're going to get. I have a lot to say about that because that shit is fucking grimy as hell. It's useful as a player to learn. It's grimy as hell for like why it exists because they're not using it to like. Back in the day when we were learning, and this is completely off topic, like Street Fighter 4, and you upload those matches or whatever, that's fine because that's how we learned. Like, okay, this is how I fight Adon versus Ibuki. This is how I fight, Adon versus Dawson, things like that. But in the sense of now, it's just uploaded. Like they literally just uploaded this content. They rake in money from it. They rake in views, and then they go on about their day. And I'm like, this is disgusting. If they didn't exist, what we were talking about earlier in terms of what could be seen at the top has a much better chance of being seen. The what do you call it? The creative ideas that we were talking about earlier, right? The different kinds of tournaments. These things get uploaded on YouTube, and now all of a sudden it gets boosted up because there's no replay channels to fill it in, right? Because that's like big number 1 or big number 2 that's populating YouTube search right now for almost any of the fighting games. The third one is the usual that we've already talked about. Your top players doing the same kind of stuff. The challenge videos, most of them are reactions though. They're challenge videos and things like that don't even pop up. It's reactions first and then everything else. And I don't want to say like remove reactions either, but it kind of is what it is, right? There's only so many reactions of, oh shit, Aki's out. I'm not going to watch every single top player reaction to Aki, it kind of is what it is. But I like more of, I don't know how to explain it. I want more creativity out of it, but I also want more of a push. Does that make sense? Like I want more of the community to push the different ideas, the different creators, the different players, go out and look for, new creators or whatever the case may be, even with the idea of the AT&T thing, which I think this might go into what I was gonna agree when you said the James Chen thing, but I can't specifically remember.
It's okay.
It's that part, you and I can agree on it now. I don't necessarily think that part is community to blame. I think it's the actual companies.
Oh no, yeah. That's what I'm saying. The people who are in charge are just out of touch with the actual FGC as a whole, so they just kind of
no. They're not out of touch. They're not out of. I know some stuff now.
I'll retract that. And we won't talk about that here, but. I remember.
I'll explain it. Yeah, but I won't.
Don't even worry about it. We'll one-on-one that.
I'm about to say I'm contractually cannot speak about one company.
Yeah. So I'm like, I won't contractually say anything that I'm not supposed to. But they're definitely not in touch. The FGC, and this goes way back to the beginning of this, and I said the FGC is broke. This is one of the biggest reasons I always say this. Where are your sponsors? You have Chipotle. Guess who doesn't have Chipotle? The entirety of the FGC. Who has Chipotle? Capcom, or aka Street Fighter? Sajam. That's it. No one else has Chipotle to my knowledge. We don't have Alienware. We don't have NZXT. We don't have most of y'all don't even have fucking Elgato. And I'm not saying Elgato is easy, but that's definitely one of the top ones you want to be going for to improve your quality, to sell. Everyone wants to be a streamer. Everybody wants to be a content creator. That's easy money. You got 100,000 subscribers. You need to be in Elgato's ear. You're pulling in 30, 50K views. You need to be in Elgato's ear. They don't know how to talk to these companies. They don't have an agency or something like that to talk to these companies. And even agencies don't want to reach out. Not all, but some don't want to reach out to the fighting game community or fighting game content creators, not because you're not good enough, or like we can't get through the bracket. It's straight up, you're not marketable. If you're not marketable enough, both through content and you as a brand or a personality, they can't get anything from you because you have to sell yourself in order to get whatever it is. Oh, yeah. A big one that, I won't say who doesn't like it, but a few of us have gotten it. Raid Shadow Legends. Everyone knows, the Raid Shadow Legends ad, right?
Mm-hmm. Why did you pause?
I had to think about it. Like I was like, how am I going to say it? But it's the Raid Shadow Legends thing, right? They pump money out for fucking days. Raid is one of the biggest sponsors that anybody could get. And if you know how to talk to get where you're looking for, that's an easy bag. and it's consistent. They love working with the same creators. You did a really good raid ad, or your video popped on one of our ads. We're gonna be back next week. We're gonna be back in 2 weeks or a month or whatever the case may be. They will preemptively reach out to you. Yo, you want to set up a 3-month plan? Like, we really love what you did with this ad. You want to, work for it from this point forward, and it works. FGC doesn't have that. I can almost put money on it that you can't go to any one of these top player videos and then look at them and say, all right, cool, here's a video. 30 seconds into the video, they're gonna say something, and this video is sponsored by Sony. Yo, thank you, Sony, for giving me the new PlayStation Vita phone thing.
I won't say it'll never happen, but that's not happening anytime. Well, that's not happening right now. It's not happening right now.
Like, it just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
And to be fair, no, sorry to cut you off, Edo, but let me say this. Like, it's funny because I've talked to some of these companies in DMs, and like, they're like, the pro players just don't say nothing. They not marketable like that. They just play the game and they don't do nothing.
That's it. You go to one, even when they get sponsored streams, and it's like, all right, cool. Play the game for 30 minutes to an hour. We'll pay you $2K because of your numbers, right? Your numbers can kind of give you, the money. So we'll pay you $2K, play the game for like 30 minutes to an hour. You get more money if you get signups. You got people sitting on stream, autoing the game. But point being is that they'll sit on stream and they won't do anything. They will not do anything. They don't know anything about the game. They're skipping through the instructions. They don't know what's going on.
I couldn't hold it in. I couldn't hold it in.
I didn't mean it. It just slipped. I do this so often because it's amusing to me. No hate, bro. I promise you, no hate.
It's just funny as hell.
It's just funny. But
oh my god,
it's just funny, bro. The point being is that it doesn't
oh god,
nothing happens from them doing the sponsors. Because nothing happens from doing the sponsor looks at it as a wasted opportunity. Why did we just give this guy $2,000 or however much money and they can't even properly promote the game? Like, they're not even talking about, oh, this character's really cool, this action's awesome. It's just, it's very bland, reactions. Oh yeah, man, that was kind of cool, or this, that, and the third. Oh, I didn't know that could happen. And it is what it is. Gotcha companies in particular, money. There's a reason I'm into the gotcha stuff. Money. They pump in money like it's crazy. They pump in money like it's crazy. These other companies too. Elgato sponsors people. The drink companies, they sponsor people. Gamer Subs, they will pay you for a video. They will pay you for a stream. Stop taking this affiliate shit. Whole different conversation. But
that's what I was gonna bring up. That's what I was gonna bring up real quick. Was like, I don't think I've seen one like FGC streamer or a content creator get sponsored by like a G Fuel. Because if you think about it, right, like Mortal Kombat 1 just came out, right? And they usually do flavors for games. They did a Mortal Kombat flavor, and I don't think I've seen one FGC content creator or Mortal Kombat content creator get like sponsored for a G Fuel flavor. Like, hey, there's a Mortal Kombat like flavor, check this out, or because they do Mortal Kombat content or something like that.
Yeah, like super hard.
Like, I've never seen anything like that. Shoot, even with like I think they did like what, Dragon Ball one time, right? Like, it's just simple stuff like that. Like, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, Game Genie. That's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. It has nothing to do with the game issues. I know like that's a reason that players are upset for sure, because they shouldn't have released that game the way that it is. But the game itself, outside of what it is, so in this case Mortal Kombat, has nothing to do with whether or not a sponsor is gonna invest into you or give you whatever. You have people getting sponsored videos on fucking the poop killer, whatever the fuck that thing is, right? It just straight up comes down to you as a creator, what you can bring to the table, what you offer to them, and maybe what they get out of that. That's really all it is. Mortal Kombat is in a weird position because it's Mortal Kombat. There's too much gore. Like, realistically, it breaks everything about YouTube's
TOS.
I call this thing SEO. TOS. Thank you. It breaks everything about YouTube's TOS. You can't sponsor it. Not willingly, I guess. Manscaped. That's another one, bro. You know how many fucking YouTubers have a Manscaped? Go to a Breezy video right now.
Yes.
He got a Manscaped ad.
Yes.
Go to a Globku video. He got a Manscaped ad. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many companies out here that just sponsor people. My email has sponsors like left and right. I get a sponsor at least once a week. Whether or not I accept it is a completely different story.
So hold on.
Where is that for fighting games?
But before we go on a tangent on that, right? the underlying message here is that we're just not marketable.
You got nothing. We don't got nothing.
We're not marketable.
Yeah, and not everybody, right?
That's,
But you know,
well,
Arrow's like,
obviously,
shit.
obviously, right?
Oh no, man, everybody kind of ass right now.
Right. I mean,
You talking to me though?
yeah. No, so I mean, at the end of the day, like, right? So like we're, you know, I understand that portion. So Arrow hasn't really had an ability to speak on the topic in itself. So like, as you're over here eating your fruit roll-ups, if you want to, you know, you're here now, so we do need some input for you on that. You know what I'm saying?
That is true. Bro, I've
My
really,
candy to the class didn't share, man. I'm telling.
bro.
Don't even worry about it. Nah, we
Hit him
here
with
now.
the yup.
So, I mean, you are aware of that tweet, right? You did
Oh,
see
yeah,
what's
I
going on
am.
with
I
it.
am.
So,
I
like,
did see you. I did see you.
so, like, what are
So,
your thoughts and opinions?
So, I think we don't have because a lot of the stuff I was gonna say, y'all pretty much was already saying it. Like we don't have like the community to back things.
Mhm.
If we start something, we can't finish it, as Blizz was saying, because the community is just not there. They just never want to be there unless there's a prize pool, but you can't have a prize pool without people
Right.
doing something for it, right? So I don't know. It's just weird. It's just a weird
So
space.
let's take your opinion of it from like the content space first, and then we can take it to, and you can move into events. So so you know, the CR Cup thing was big, and it's like the viewership, which I do want to point this out to you guys, like for you guys that are watching, like this might actually get a bit longer, but hear me out. The viewer, and I did a case study myself. The viewership of Street Fighter 6 during Japan's hours, it's kind of night and day for us. It is pretty night and day. That's not necessarily a bad thing, and that's the part where I want to make it clear. Like, I agree with both sides. Like, I agree with Punk in the sense that we should be happy, but then in the same stance, in the words of Soul, we shouldn't be complacent with those said numbers either. Like, it's good that we got the numbers, but let's not forget that the point of this is to grow. We're not supposed to stagnate. Like, we had, truth be told, you know, just to kind of bump it up, we had one of the best. I'm gonna just keep it real. Street Fighter 6 is one of the best fighting game releases that we've had in a long time, a very, very long time. I think Street Fighter 6 is by far the most monumental release we've had since Strive was good, not monumental. Not monumental. It was a good release, not monumental. Yeah. We won't like. I don't want to talk about semantics about the game. It's just the release in itself and how it was received, and the overall reception was good. But Street Fighter came and just blew it out the water, clearly. So with that being said, you know, even now, right now, Street Fighter's got 16K.
I think can I say this though? Even though the semantics around the game is whatever, I will say Strive did raise the bar for the importance of good netcode.
Oh no,
especially because of the time it came out.
For sure.
But that's all I want to say. Yeah. Just for somebody to get mad.
no, for sure. But like, this is just to help Arrow kind of give his input here, and I posted in the Discord recently, just for the sake of, I just want to say these numbers real fast, and then you got it. Earlier this morning, I copied and pasted numbers. I'm just scrolling to catch it. So at 7 a.m., Japan had 7 a.m. Central, you guys, at 16.8K. And then that's at 7:04 a.m. Central Time, right? And then moving up an hour and a half later was 40.9K. That's a stark contrast.
It's a huge difference.
Right? So that's kind of where we are, you know? So just to put you back into the mix here, carry on. I just want to let people know that these are the numbers that I have, because I do have them clipped. But carry on.
Damn.
So from, you know, back to content standpoint, Arrow.
Okay, so like, I was thinking that, what makes Japan's content that much more marketable? Because sometimes I'd be going into their streams, right? It's pretty much the same thing, like that we're doing. Like they're playing the game, they're kind of just chilling, sitting, doing this stuff. But like, what makes people want to watch? I don't want to say why I think so, but you know,
No, I get you.
yeah. But what makes them more like marketable to like, or what pushes them more to a casual audience than like NA people? Okay, I honestly, as a competitor or as a streamer myself, I don't see where
what's
the
so different?
split is. Yeah,
I can
don't see where the
answer
split
that
is.
from mostly a casual perspective, like watching it as a casual player, because I don't understand a lick of what they're saying half the time. So I get you on that. From a casual standpoint, what I've noticed from their communities, and it's not just the FGC, by the way, like a lot of the Japanese streamers in general, because I watch a lot of Monster Hunter. So Monster Hunter Japanese streamers are fucking crazy. And so what they do that's way different than most of the NA FGC is that the NA FGC focuses on one of two things in the chat: money, so subs, gift subs, you know, subscribers, whatever, and then bait, you know, bullshit takes, drama, calling them out, whatever, something like that. Maybe they will answer a question here or there. JP, if you go in there and like as a casual player, because they understand a large majority of their audience is casual, and you go in there, it's like, okay, cool. Well, Rashid's out. I'm getting bopped by Rashid. I really just don't understand how to, you know, move around his tornadoes. Oh, hold on, I got you. They will stop what the fuck they're doing, open training, and run a whole training session with you to learn what the fuck is going on with Rashid. Outside of that, they're more communicative.
Personable?
Is that a word? No, like I'm trying to think of the word. Like they communicate more. They're very talkative with the chat. You know, they tell jokes, they laugh, something stupid happens, it's funny for the whole chat. It feels like that streamer's community.
They vibe with the chat.
Right.
They vibe
Exactly.
with
I don't.
So it's
Since I don't understand them, I don't know what they be saying, but it seems like a good much of them have like a very similar format to Max, in my opinion. It feels like a lot of them like are structured with, this is what we're gonna do on stream today, and these are the things that I want to make sure gets done.
Yep.
Because like Margo, he normally live as soon as I wake up for work, or when I'm going to bed or whatever, and it seems like it, again, I don't know what they're saying, but it just seems like he has a plan or like a structure of what he plans to do that day. He'll go through it. He'll talk to the chat about it, get feedback from them, and talk to them. Like I remember when the whole thing when he was first learning Jury, when the game was first coming out, it wasn't really any pro players, at least from the names I was seeing and like remember from Kanji and stuff, is that it was mostly just a casual audience. It's like, oh, these are the things I'm struggling with, and chat's like, oh, why don't you try this, like this? And then he's like, I didn't really think of that.
Yep.
And then like a very back and forth conversation, and then sometimes they laugh, so I'm guessing like they'll shoot jokes and stuff at each other as well.
Yeah.
So it's more
it's
so
a vibe.
And just so I know, you're talking about Mago. Did I get that right?
Mago.
Yeah.
Mago. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. So
No, you got it.
It feels like that is, I'm actually talking to a person, while like Max can do that, but again, like Max is the cream of the crop. So this man got hundreds of messages going. So of course he's not going to get everybody.
I have words for that too. I'm gonna let you cook. I have words for that.
The only other people outside that's like pretty big within the space that I think does that, I think Brian F does a pretty good job at it, and I think Diaphone does a pretty good job at it, like communicating and constantly talking to your chat, and not just being so focused into playing the game.
Yeah. So my words for that is this, and I'm not gonna roast my chat here too heavily or anything of that nature. I want you guys to know I love you, but you know, that's one of the few things that I think in general, you know, and it's not a knock on my chat. You know, that's something I think a lot of fighting game streamers do struggle with. I think a lot of people just
Kizzy does too. Yeah,
I think a lot of people just don't know what to say in chat. Even if you have a structure, even if you have those goals, right? You still have to talk to chat, right? Even if you don't look at it from that standpoint or do the things that you're speaking on, right? It is important to talk to chat, but at the same time, it's also it also is in the viewer's hands too to be able to have that connection, you know. And I think that's kind of where it's kind of what's interesting here on our side, right? Because I feel like when it comes to that, like I think in my chat, I think some people get intimidated because they think like, well, he's like the wise guy, he knows what he's doing. So what am I gonna say to him? You know what I mean? But I always make it clear, like I'm still learning like anyone else.
I was gonna break it down because I thought about it, but this is the best way I can explain like chapter for the Japan creators.
I got some right after too.
All right, Japan creators and Western creators. So Japan creators are like, "Hi, I'm Goku," and then the Western was like, "Actually," and then you just hear.
Oh man, I'm not even.
I think a big thing with a lot of fighting game streamers, and just like some streamers, American streamers in general. It was a video. I can't remember if it was Harris Heller or somebody I was watching, and it was like when you're streaming to a decent amount of people, and you don't get a lot of responses from like what you're being interactive. It was like there must be something there that is preventing people from wanting to talk to you while you're streaming. And he was like, you don't know what that is, but as the streamer, that should be something that you should figure out why is that. And I know there was like one of the things that he was like that's why like he himself doesn't stream a lot, or if he does, he has a schedule plan. So regardless of if people are interactive or talking, as long as he gets the things done and make sure to be entertaining while he's going off that checklist, then he's an interaction. It'll come and go, but it's a form of practice that he thinks that as long as there's a form of structure, as long as there's a point of conversation throughout the stream, at whatever rate you want it to be, eventually conversation will form.
Yeah,
I think that part's really interesting because like this is weird to say it like this, but you would think that a smaller stream would have a lot more interaction versus a larger stream. But what's very interesting is I feel like the larger streams tend to have a lot more activity. I mean, for obvious reasons, there's a lot more people in there. But you would think that like a more smaller, like tight knit community would have a lot more. I guess a lot more to talk about, a lot more to say.
You have to earn it.
Yeah, but I think it depends on. I think it more so depends on like does it? So like if it's small. Even though it's small, does it feel like a community? Does it feel like it's a welcoming environment? Because I think the big thing with big streamers is that a lot of times everybody in chat, they either just randomly trying to say something to the streamer, or they just generate conversation between each other. And
right, that's true.
Yeah.
And like even those for you, like when the chat gets going, a lot of times we be in there, we be like, "Kev, we not talking to you." We talking
that definitely has happened quite a few times. In fact, more times than I can count, but that's still, I don't mind it.
Yeah, so it becomes, I think the environment has to become more so that the streamer is here, we're entertained, but it has to become a welcome environment that everybody can a conversation can still be withheld without necessarily the streamer, but in that same vein, the streamer has to set that tone, that environment for it to be that way.
I agree. And I just say that because I think that's still like a very common thing. And I'm not talking about like my chat, which is why I know my chat are like, please don't roast us. I know you guys are normally chilling whenever we're up in here, right? But I've seen other like fighting game streamers, they'll have bigger numbers than me, and like their chat is just barely active. They're just numbers. They might just be having conversation with themselves or like among themselves, excuse me, and not so much with the streamer. And I think that's something that's part of why we struggle here on that side of things. But I don't know, maybe also just to kind of add to it, I do feel like it might also be a cultural thing where I think more people on this side of the world might be more afraid to chat. Because I have seen people say that to me, like they've actually DM'd me and just say, I don't know what to say in your chat, but or prime example, I went to see Iyokuu, obviously, and I met someone after another match, and they're like, "Yeah, man, I lurk in your streams, man, really good stuff." And it's like, I appreciate you. I need you to hit that keyboard, big fella. You know what I mean? Like, it's good. Like, I'm glad that you're here, but I want to interact with you. I don't want to make it seem like this is just about me. Like, you guys are here. I want to talk with you. I make this kind of content. I'm bringing these guys up in here to talk with me about these topics. You know what I mean? I want you guys to interact with obviously in this case, not just me, but also the guys here in this chat. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, it kind of detracts. But I also get it. Like some people just don't want to. Some people don't want to say anything. Some people just have the stream up. It's really interesting because like I have seen like, dude, Kazunoko stream was nuts. The other day I watched him at 7K views on YouTube. I'm like, yo, what is happening? Chat room is flying. I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa. I'm like,
Yeah, Mochi. I don't play Strive like that. I still pop in his streams. He maybe has like 1K people. You think using max chat how much people just constantly talk?
yeah. So it's like it's crazy because I do feel to some extent what kind of we can kind of put. I don't want to put blame. I don't want to say the word blame. You can kind of say the cause for concern is on both ends, right? Where like, or is NA chat less active, or are they just more prone to just watching versus communicating? Whereas to like, I guess it's kind of interesting to me, right? And the reason why I say it like this is because like it feels like it's exactly what it's supposed to be in Japan. Live interactive content that you can interact with live versus here you get the live interactive. I'm sorry, you get the live, but not the interactive, right? It's
I think funny enough, it stems from the point that I kind of agree with the culture of the two things. That the culture of fighting games is a lot more it's been more accepted or like big within Japan. So it's like point of conversation and stuff between the casual audience seem like it could come up a lot easier. While in NA, at least for fighting games at the current state it is that a lot of people are new. Not saying there aren't any new players in Japan, but like I feel like the ratio or maybe the setting of it is that a lot of people like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing in NA, and I don't know what to ask him, or I don't understand what's going on, and it becomes like you kind of feel like
feel welcome.
Yeah, you kind of feel like that kid in the class. I'm gonna just sit in the corner in the back of the classroom, and I'm not gonna say nothing. Yeah. I'm gonna just let somebody else say it.
I'm gonna just jot down notes.
Yeah, I'm gonna hope somebody else in the chat says it for me, and then maybe I'll chime in. But if nobody ever says it, then the questions or like the topics just never get brought up.
Yeah, and that's right here what was said too, and that's something that oh man, I'm not gonna hold you. Of anyone in this chat right now, there's one motherfucker that heard me bitch about this so much, and that is Blizz. When people just come into my stream and they're just like, thanks for the tech, big dog. I didn't know you could do that. And they just bounce. It's like, Dragon Ball? Yo, I know we're kind of veering off topic, but just kind of like pointing how the live interactive stuff is on this side. It's like, I'll get all these people to come in when I play Dragon Ball, wait for me to do all this Blue Goku tech, and they're like, even up to a point to where someone legit took my team and made a whole YouTube video on my team. Like, whoa. I mean, and then Dyphon's also mentioned that this happened to him too, where he had some concept, I think either for Strive or something along those lines, and they just completely just jacked that stuff and made the video like the same day. Streamed it, and it's like, dude, like part of like, and I mean, don't get me wrong, tech is tech, but it kind of hurts when like, I mean, and I get it. I'm one of those people that I love to train mode fighting games and figure things out. And I understand not everyone's like that creative or that adventurous in that regard. But, you know, obviously it would be nice to like talk, you know, lurk, still tech, or they'll just be like, lurking, reporting into still tech, big dog. You go ahead and do what you do. No support, no nothing. I'll give you that view count till I see what I need. And like I've seen during Dragon Ball, dude, when I went back and looked at my clip section, the amount of Blue Goku that was clipped was insane. And it's from people who are not in my chat normally. They're just like, oh, that dude plays Blue Goku, which obviously that's going to come up, right? There's like, there's no other Blue Goku like streamer. So they're going to pop up. They're going to see what's going on. Wow, that team's unique. The amount of people that said, yeah, man, I jacked your team. Like, I'm sure you did. I did all the work for you. You know what I mean? Like, I did everything for you. And, you know, and I guess I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying I'm like ungrateful or anything like that, but like it'd be nice to interact and be like, hey, I'm also playing that team too. Thanks for showing me this. Hey, have you tried this? Or try to find a way to conversate. Like, I get it. You stole my tech. You sat here. You watched me lab this shit out for hours. I gave you the setup. You know what I mean? I gave you all this stuff so you can play. Talk to me. You know what I mean? At least talk. Like, I'm not like, I want to make it clear, right? When I'm saying this, Obviously, some people say otherwise. Go ahead and sub up. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Of course, it'd be nice if you subbed up, but at the very least, communicate. Because what people have to understand is in a chat room, right, and like in a stream, chatting is so important because people shouldn't feel like they can't talk. I see there's sometimes people come into my chat, they'll just sit there. And I'm like, dude, I get it. Like, I call out the lurkers, and it's like, if I call y'all by name, y'all gonna be like, man, I used to do that before, and people would just stop coming because they're like, I don't want you to call me out. I'm like, I'm happy that you're here. I'm just calling you by name to say thank you. You know what I mean? But people don't like that, believe it or not. They find it very intrusive, which is weird. But
I don't know if this mean, but on the topic of that, like as a person who stream, like we've all have, but streamed all different various forms of like fighting games and within the genre. I feel like the ones that are just FGC oriented, like they can't talk to people. Like even when I did Naruto, Demon Slayer, even My Hero, like I could be playing My Hero and they'll be talking about like something random in the chat, like, oh, did y'all watch Beyonce yesterday or something? And I'd be like, oh, I don't know, but a conversation can spark. And in other cases, when you stream the fighting game, sometimes it's like some people might be afraid to talk, especially if you concentrate on you in a ranked match, because they know you want to be engaged with the viewer, but they don't want you to be like, dang, I looked at the chat, I lost. You know how people say that on streams because they tilted? Yeah, you know how people say that? So like that's like one of those that could probably be like a thing too.
I've never done that to anybody.
Bro, ain't nobody asked y'all in the chat to actually answer the question, bro.
Like, we're not doing. Move on.
Regardless. Like I've seen that happen a lot. Like me streaming Naruto, even though I want to run away from it, it has been a big part of me success. Like I can play Naruto, I'll be fighting like Playco or something, and they talking about, yeah, did y'all hear that new Uzi album? And it's just like conversations are sparking while I'm focusing, so it's like things are happening in the background. But if I stream something with like, let's say BB Tag was the other fighting game that did really well for me, like those people would talk about the anime or something because it had something attached to it, while other people just feel afraid to just interject because they're like, wait, he focusing, I don't want to mess him up and then feel bad. You know, so it's one of those things. I feel like a lot of people are like that,
and that's why I think another disconnect comes is that it's sadly, especially even as good as the game Street Fighter 6 is, the only connection from a casual standpoint that most people think you can have is how is the competitive scene. That is always the conversation with Street Fighter. There's nothing else. I bet you can go to any streamer. 9 times, even myself with Street Fighter, and ask them, do they know any story bits about the characters within 6? 80 to 90. Of course, there's outliers. 80 to 90% of them don't know nothing about the character from a story perspective, or like what is like the technical piece of the character. And so when it comes from a casual, if the only thing that I can talk to you about is how to improve, or how or the competitiveness of the game, then at that point it becomes, if I just feel like I'm in school and I'm just here to learn, I'm not here to enjoy. I'm not here to enjoy what's being said, which is a big thing that I've noticed. In comparison, like me consuming a lot of Mortal Kombat 1, as rough as that game currently is in the state, going through every different streamer that streams that game, 9 times out of 10. They aren't talking about even people that host something, they aren't talking about the competitive scene of the game. They're talking about, oh, Reptile's on screen. Did y'all see the part where Reptile did his thing in the story mode? Oh, I like that Strike as a camera because I'm like, he's not that big of a character, but he seems cool. But I do want him to have a moment again in the story. It's just random topics that has nothing to do with the competitive aspects of the game. Because them as a product offer more. That isn't on the streamer though, but I think as a streamer, you should keep that in mind. And it's one reason why I don't stream a lot, because I know I can't even keep my own attention span that long live. But to an extent that you need to offer something else outside of just improving at the game. Because at this rate, there's like 10 other niggas that's doing the same thing and then probably bigger than you. So if everybody's receiving the same type of information from the same people, it's the same stance we were talking about with content generally. It's repetitive. So if you aren't doing anything different than what everybody else is doing, then why do I need to check you out? And again, I mean, it's a double-edged sword thing too. Though, if I do anything different, nobody shows up, and it's just a tough cycle.
That. Oh boy.
I find that interesting because like I remember back in the Street Fighter 6 betas, right? And like I'm gonna use Mako for example, right? He was like trying to figure out what character to play, and you know, while the chat was giving him characters, he was like, "Let me talk about the design for the characters." And he was talking about like Jury and like Chun and stuff, and like more people in the chat, even people who spoke English was typing, and you just saw the chat just go crazy. Like it's in one of his videos, and because of the subtitles, and he was just talking about like, oh, okay, like seemed like Jury looked scary or something like that, you know, and like people in the chat was like, oh, you know, was vibing with him. Like here, you don't see that like at all. Like I just feel like it's mainly just quiet and just no vibing at all. Like, and that just goes for majority of FGC streamers.
Which is why I'm so glad that you guys in chat when you do your thing. It's good. I appreciate it. Trust. Any streamer would agree with you, man. Like I think agree with me in the sense that like when chat is active, it's some of the best because a lot of the best conversations happen there. So like, you know, I can switch it up to be all emote chat and stuff like that. I need to get some more emotes. Lorak, I'm gonna find you soon again. But you know, I don't know, just all this matters. So just so you guys understand, this is all a part of, you know, the East versus West in terms of content. We're just talking about culture now a little bit and how it's a little bit more received a bit well on the Eastern side, on the Eastern side of how fighting games are perceived. It's already pretty big in their culture. And when I say big, I mean that very loosely. When I say big, like it's already been a part of the culture where fighting games are now slowly getting more attention on the West in terms of like it being put into esports and put into our culture, which now I'm going right back to you, Arrow, because you actually kind of got here. You helped us get here, trying to understand like what's so great here now, right? But now let's take it from the perspective of events. Like, how do you feel about that?
Our events are pretty good when we're doing them. But like Iyokuu just a while ago, that was a pretty good tournament. But I think our tournaments or events are pretty far and few between, and I think that's mostly because of 3 years ago.
COVID.
Yeah. So
I mean, we have online.
We don't really, I mean, yeah, but even online is kind of spirit. We got World Warrior.
Well, you're looking at just CPT. If you just look at CPT, then sure, I got you. But we still have the. Well, you got. Never forget, we still have the weeklies, which is something that we discussed earlier. We still have the TNS, we still have the can opener, we have, you know, Bums, House of Chaos, and then we have ICFC. And then the other tournaments like Cast a Bunch. You know, I'm just throwing all the names out here just to let everyone know that I know that they're out here. You know, so much love to the guys out there doing their thing. But, you know, what Saul mentioned before, like, we know we got those, but it's kind of like no knock to them, no disrespect. But, like, all right, what's next?
So T-Pain me and do something else.
like I mean, I thought it was kind of cool for what it's worth, you know. And this isn't just to talk about Street Fighter, just fighting as a whole, right? We did have the Sonic Fox versus Waka Flocka or whatever. I mean, yeah, it's cool and all. You know, that was something, for better or worse. You know.
Hey, bro, I'm just. It's like you can say all we want, but I mean, some stuff like that is important to have. Because like that, I think if I'm pretty sure like the next day that broke the news or something.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
it
pretty
was
much.
like having something that bizarre or that just brings like some form of relevance or entertainment. It's a very valuable thing to have. Like one of the biggest things I think that TNS did, which I think was a lot of fun, was they ran a tournament for the modding community with the whole modded Marvel thing.
Right, yeah, that was dope.
And I'm pretty sure like the viewership for that was bigger than normal Marvel when they was doing it for a little bit, but because it's something different. It's something different. it's still somewhat competitive because a lot of people that are playing, they know how to play the game, but like it's more so the stakes didn't matter so much. It was more so just about having fun. And again, it just goes back into the thing that the big struggle with fighting games is that at least how the content's presented on like the larger scale is that it's less about fun and more so about competing and getting better. And I think it just gets to a point within our realm that has a certain ceiling for the current people that consumes content in NA. Because again, we look at any other space, the biggest creators within the FPS, within the MOBAs, or any of the other esports reigns, a lot of their biggest content creators aren't pro players. They are just casual people that consume the game and make fun ideas out of the games. And that's just an area that sadly we're lacking in, and hopefully we can progress past that.
Arrow, thoughts?
Because I had an idea, and I'm trying to regain it as I am. Like,
No, mind you don't have to spout out an idea for an event or anything like that, but just we've already talked about doing extreme battles. I mean, we could all.
Yeah, here's what it is. I remember now. The problem with like doing different things is that nobody's gonna, I'm not gonna say nobody, but a lot of people won't watch them, which is why you end up seeing repeat content like, oh, this character is broken, oh, these combo trials are hard as hell, or something like that.
I
Like,
just said this earlier too, but yes, carry on. It's cool. I'm still hearing from your perspective.
but like it's just hard. It's hard to like do other things, but then nobody's just gonna watch them. Like, this is not.
Gotta change the space, dog.
But how do you do that? You know.
You have to form the Avengers, dog.
No, because you know what the scene. But everybody's still stuck on and I love this series. Don't get me wrong, I love it a lot. But there's people still stuck on Excellent Adventures. That was like a post a month and a half ago.
True.
And somebody was like, "Yeah, what happened to like? Why is there no fighting game content with like people next to each other playing fighting games?"
Yeah, and that's been talked about a lot.
Yeah. And I'm like, I get why people want that, because for a lot of people, the FGC is that. Like, those experiences and moments are classic, or like super best friend plays, if y'all know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, them people want that. And I can't be mad at it, because when I think of going to the event, the best moments of the event is not even for the tournament, right? Like, at least that's how I view it. The tournament is just a part of why I love it, but the moments of hanging out with your homies, the way how at Evo we went to Korean barbecue, or just the stuff that happened in the hotel, you know? Like, I've gained a lot more experience, honestly, from Kev watching me play in the hotel versus Biggs than just, you know, being there sometimes, you know, leveling up a little bit. And there's multiple ways you can get that, and I'm not diminishing the tournament or the event experience. I'm just saying, like, real rap, like, those are some of the big core moments that people love about watching fighting game stuff. And when you have stuff like that cultivated a lot of content, people would already, and I know you said we're not going to talk about Max because he's already there, but when most people think of content for fighting games on a bigger scale, they think of Max, and they think of stuff like
Super,
you know, yes, Excellent Adventures, you know. Yeah. So yeah. It's probably one of those things where, like, it's hard to do that because our culture over here is completely, like, Japan does that a lot too. Like, when Street Fighter 6 came out, there was Daigo and all of them at each other's houses, you know, playing with each other, you know.
That was wild.
I think funny enough is I think it's less so about wanting Excellent Adventures, is more so about a similar tweet that was like a few weeks ago. And somebody tweeted, and it kind of blew up slightly. It was like, I'm tired of all of this like current like tournament run content. We don't have any content of homies playing together. And I think that's the big thing of they're not saying that content don't exist, but like like I said, on a bigger scale, who does it outside of Max when he posts when they post like the Yo video game clips? It's a few like Thero. That's his whole channel is about him having fun with his homies. And that's and we know that form of content does have an audience and people like it because his videos and a lot of other bigger people that do it bangs. But it's just we have to find a way to put yourself or get the eyes on you, which is the hardest part. Is that people want to consume that content, but it's just how the current structure is of how people view content as the large majority, and the comparison of tournament runs and teaching you is being pushed out at a rate in comparison to homies playing together is 9-1. So of course, since you're doing the lesser thing, it's going to be extremely hard for people to find that. And this, again, like I said earlier, it's the double-edged sword.
I agree. And the thing I always, me and Blizz, we've talked about this at length, bro, and I'm gonna say it every time. When it comes to excellent adventures, people, when they say they want excellent adventures, they want Mike Ross and Gutex. They don't want me and Blizz, me and Yaya, me and Edo, Arrow and Soul. That's not what they want. When they say I say that, right? And because Versus Vortex is doing fantastic. You know, and it helps that Shen and Mike Ross have a good, they have good synergy. And I said this before, and it's not a knock to them previously, but Cross Counter Asia didn't do anywhere near as good as regular Cross Counter with Mike Ross and Gutex. You can go look at the numbers. That's not even a joke. That's just straight up what it is. You know, so I think what can happen is you take that format and you flip it. Which is something, which is what we've talked about, right? Like taking that format and flipping it, and I think that's kind of what Versus Vortex is doing, but they're doing other things.
I think that statement is true to a degree, but I also think that it's more than that because you have to consider that a good chunk of the FGC now is new people. They don't know what the fuck Excellent Adventures is. Mm-hmm. Like I'm a part of the people that I'd hardly ever seen it.
Now you're right.
I gotta fucking open your eyes, bro. After this call,
I've seen some of it.
Like
but
trust
opening your.
Trust me when I say this, right?
Bro.
And I see you, Rizzy. Let me tell you this real fast. Even though you don't know about it, it's like that legendary thing, right? That people, when it comes to content, it is that legendary thing that a lot of people have like fought for. And there's two major things. It's Excellent Adventures and Assist Me are the two biggest things in content creation for fighting games that have ever existed. So like, you can always go peep Excellent Adventures but the thing is, you know why you know about Excellent Adventures more is because Max is active. Before, Mike wasn't as active. Now he's active with Xian and they're doing their thing. So you're gonna, now that they're active, now you have more incentive, if you will, quote unquote, air quotes, to go back and peep that. You know what I'm saying? But I can tell you for sure, like Excellent Adventures and Cross Counter and things that they did was great. And I'll just say this: me and Blizz already talked about it. We already have the blueprint to like excel that. We ain't gonna talk about it. Obviously, with me and you, we can all talk about it together off this call.
I think I'm just mostly saying that I think it's less of people want them specifically to do it, and more so that they want a version of similar quality or better. And like I was saying earlier, the closest thing to that for most people that can see it from like eyes glance of looking into YouTube or Twitch is Yo Video Games and the thing and what Lythero does with his crew for fighting games. Those are the two biggest ones. And so I feel like another group of people can do it, but it's just you have to get the eyes and stuff to show people that this is just as good. It can be better, but again, it's just you have to work your way up to get to that point.
I won't say too much about Yo Video Games because that channel is that channel, and that's all I'll say.
Yeah, the channel's whatever. It's more them is more so the streams when they do it.
Yeah, it's the streams.
Yeah, it's the streams.
You know, so but I mean, at the end of the day, like, well, let me just go and throw it out here because we're gonna get ready to close out. One, thank y'all for y'all time as per usual. That's one, and then two, for anyone just catching it now, you know. Just going over the, once again, FGC NA content versus Japan content, little debacle. And, yeah, man, it's, I do believe our space is changing. Fighting games are growing. We are getting more eyes on it. we just got to do more than just what's already out there. It's gonna take some creative minds. It's gonna take, to be honest with you, if you're watching this right now, I know this got a little long-winded. You know, we got some extra people up in here, but you know, please understand that like you guys are part of this. You know what I mean? Like when you go to Evo, when you watch a video, when you consume anyone's content in here, you know what I mean, fighting games in particular, like you're part of, you know, helping this grow. You know, and I do think one thing I want to make sure that I make clear here is that you as a viewer always have to remember, like, if you want to see change, and you got to go where you can see it happening and support it. It doesn't mean you don't support everyone else or whatever. If you have your favorite player you like to watch, or blase blase whoop-de-whoop, that's cool.
Yeah.
But remember, complaining about the space not changing, complaining about the content not being any different, you have to remember it's also on you to try to do your best to search for what you want. You know, YouTube has a lot of, trust me when I say, like, there's a lot of great fighting game content creators. Trust me. And I'm not saying just myself. I'm saying the guys here. You know, there's other people out there that are doing really, really good stuff that we've mentioned that, you know, if you just go take a look, you'll see there's a lot of fighting games more than just tutorial content, tournament runs. Like, they're out here, you know, and they're all trying to innovate. They're all trying to do their thing. It's just, you got to venture out. It's just take it upon yourself to venture out. Obviously, I'm going to push my own content because this is my channel, obviously, right? So I'm going to be doing my thing and doing what I can, you know? So if you're more interested in some more unique things, you'll see some stuff here. You'll see some cool stuff from the other guys here as well. Trust, we're at no shortage of like great content. You know, it's just you have to learn to take a chance. I think that's one thing people have to learn how to do is to take a chance. You don't have to always rely on, like, you know, I get it, said person's top player, blase blase whoop-de-whoop, but trust, there's more than just that top player.